Okay, Stephen A. Smith. Okay, I saw your video and you are very passionate. We met at the Thomas and Mack Center, 2006, Zab Judah versus Floyd Mayweather. And I knew then you were a boxing fan. But you're kind of like a casual boxing fan who watched mainly the big fights. Okay, and mostly all the pay-per-views you either attend or you do go to the fight. So you do have a staple as far as knowing what you're talking about as far as paying for pay-per-views. And I'm not saying you're being remiss about it or anything like that. It's just that you have to direct your targets at the right targets. Okay, because there are a lot of people out there putting cards together and really trying to make good fights for the people. And when you don't direct your target at the right people, you just spray it everywhere. It's like almost like slander. You're slandering the sport in which your company that pays and writes your check and cuts your check too are a part of. They have sponsors that sponsored that show. Boxing's on there so that people will want the ratings. Okay, they want to come in, they tune in, and they watch the boxing late at night. So when you attack pay-per-views, and I understand what you mean, but you're also attacking money that's generated by these pay-per-views and these fights. If people didn't want to see the fights, they wouldn't pay for them, Stephen A. That's just it. If people didn't want to see Pacquiao versus Bradley, they wouldn't have paid for it in the first place. I mean, the Mayweather-Pacquiao situation has been going on since 2009. It's nothing new. People still want to see that fight, but did people want to see Mayweather fight Shane Mosley? Yes. Did people want to see Victor Ortiz fight Floyd Mayweather? Yeah, they paid for it. Did they want to see Mayweather fight Miguel Cotto? Absolutely. They paid for it. They wanted to see Pacquiao fight Margarito? Yeah, they paid for it. Don't you understand? This is how it goes. Telling people they shouldn't pay for stuff is just going to make people really run out and go and pay for it more. Get the fights that they want to see. It's only one fight that's out there that the public that don't usually watch boxing really want to see. What about the rest of the year? So you get that fight. Then what? Okay, that's one fight in the sport of boxing, okay? That one fight's not going to save anything or say it's just going to make a lot of money for a lot of people. There are a lot of other fights out there that can be made that are not getting made that should be made, okay? And it has nothing to do with somebody getting screwed on the cards, okay? Let's address that now. I'm going to tell you right now, Manny Pacquiao I had winning 117 and 111, Steve. But also, those were a competitive 117 to 111. Every round could be looked at as the other guy could have won the round. Meaning that one person was fighting hard for 2 minutes and then the other person fought good or basic for the last minute of the round. But might have landed the more thorough blows like Manny Pacquiao did. Some rounds he only fought in the last 30 seconds of the round. But he landed the most authoritative shots. But Bradley was consistently working the entire fight. And some judges score that over someone who just tries to steal rounds. It all depends on what you like. So it's a competitive 117, 111. That could easily be 115, 113. Either way, I could see it going that way and couldn't be upset with any scorecard. There is no wrong scorecard. Okay, I just said, wow, I thought they would give it to Manny because he landed the cleaner, more telling shots, and he was the champion. But I was wrong. The judges didn't see it that way. They had it 115, 113. And if you see the scores and you go back and score those rounds, you could see the rounds that they gave to Brown. It's like, okay, all right, maybe that's what they were scoring. But you have to look at it from both angles, and before you just make an analysis like that it's not just one scenario. What about Paul Williams, Eric Lander, Laura? That's an atrocity. The judges were suspended and still suspended because there's no way that Laura lost that fight. So there have been worse stoppages. I mean, not worse stoppages, but worse decisions in the sport of boxing. The Marquez Pacquiao fight, to me, was worse than this because I had Marquez winning comfortably. I thought that fight wasn't even in question. That's how bad Juan Manuel Marquez was putting on a boxing lesson to Manny Pacquiao. They knew they lost as well. It's the same scenario that y'all saying for Bradley, they could say for him. But for you, it's more egregious because it's Manny Pacquiao. How could they do this to him? This is the Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao had 3 losses before. Should have had a 4th in his last fight. What is a big surprise that he lose this fight? I mean, why isn't it possible? He's looked bad in his other fights. This fight, he didn't look as bad. And could it be because Bradley's injuries? He did injure his ankles early in the fight. Of course, he has limited boxing skills. He's a great athlete, and he makes up for it in the ring. But you have to understand something. Timothy Bradley fought every minute of that fight. There was no time that he quit in the fight. And as long as a fighter is fighting like that, he always has a chance. I'm not saying he won, but I can see how they gave it to him. I can see that. I mean, Bob Arum couldn't see it. But, hey, you can't really argue with any scorecard in this fight. Somebody said Bradley won 1 round. Maybe on their cards. Because the rounds could go either way. It depends on what part of the fashion show did you like. Did you score the aggression and hard work? Did you score somebody who's landing the more telling shots? That is basically it for this fight. And I just wanted to say you're on the right track. I'm just saying, just direct your targets. I mean, name the people you're mad at. Or name who you're talking to in general. Don't just say promoters. Because now you involve a whole group of people into something that doesn't even really concern everybody else. And I know where you're going with it by saying they held at mercy by 3 promoters, big promoters that's running the game, but you got to direct your targets at the right people. Okay? So, it's not really one company either that had bad events. But it's been controversy on 3 main pay-per-views by Top Rank. That's just the facts. The Richard Abreu, this pay-per-view here, and then the pay-per-view with Pacquiao Marquez. Those are 3 controversial pay-per-views where people are going back and forth on the scores, but it really lies on the commission. Bob Arum's right. You got to go to the commissions. They're the first person you go to because it's easy for us to say the promoter. But you got to go to the commissions first. The promoter work with the commissions and they can't. That's possible. Everybody needs to be investigated. Arum said he's open to investigation. So, he said he's got nothing to hide. I mean, but I think he's doing this to really show the people because he lost a lot of fan support in the Philippines because of this. But, he's really doing this because he's trying to make sure he save face and say, look, I call for the investigation. I sit and say, hey, investigate me. Because I want to make sure that I'm cool there. Because he's going to have Manny for a while. And you don't want that going bad. So, that's all I got to say, Steve. You're on the right track. Keep doing what y'all doing. But just direct your target to the right people. So it don't misconstrue these people who watch ESPN. Because you guys went back and forth on it. I don't know how many times debating Mayweather and Pacquiao, and instead of promoting other fights and other pay-per-views, I wish you guys would do more of that, more than just focusing on Mayweather and Pacquiao, because you make that fight the end-all be-all of everything of boxing. Talk about other fighters, bring them up into the mix. Talk about Sergio Martinez, talk about Victor Ortiz, talk about Amir Khan sometimes. Bring up other fighters. There's other fighters that's in the portal that you can come into. I know you guys play devil advocate, you go back and forth and make a good show, but promote boxing more on ESPN the way it should be promoted more, and then we will see good fights. Then people will say, well, okay, I'm not going to pay for the pay-per-view because I got another good fight here. You know, promote the fights that y'all got on your own shows on ESPN. Then people would say, okay, now I have an alternative to the pay-per-view. You know, just don't come out and slam it for everybody. What's that?